So you can see all of this stuff on the table. I'm going to give you a preview of what I'm expecting to eat on the trail. I'm still in the planning mode. I'm still in the recipe development mode, but I've got a few things fixed, so I'll show you that and also what I'm thinking about. But the other reason I wanted to do this video is because I've just received and am starting to learn how to use this Hohem iSteady-X cell phone camera gimbal, which should be able to take the shake out of my videos, keep them much more stable and then much more visible. I've not gotten all of the features working yet, but this is my first attempt to at least use some of the features. So looking at how I'm planning to cook on the trail, firstly, I'm going to use an isobutane fuel canister to which is connected a little stove. Now this, I can't even remember the name of it. I think it, gosh, what was it called? You know, it's just escaped me at the moment. It was a very cheap stove. It's a little tippy, which has been a bit of a problem. But that's what I'm going with. This handle here folds in out of the way. Actually, it's not really a handle. It is to control the fuel. So turned all the way to the right turns the fuel off. Turning it to the left turns the fuel on, and you can adjust the amount of fuel, the strength of the fire coming through. I'm also going to be using this Bic mini lighter to light it. And I have this long-handled titanium spoon. I have a Toke 650 ml titanium pot. The lid comes off. The handle folds in so that it's more packable. And it comes with this little carrying case, which also I've used to keep the warmth in, because my goal is to save on fuel by heating up the water to a boil, adding the food or adding the water to the food, and then sticking it in here, if I have a little food bag, to kind of cook without any more fuel being spent. And this little insulating mug will be helpful for that. I also splurged a little bit by purchasing this really cute little double-walled hot drink mug, which I'll use for coffee, tea, hot chocolate. Has a little lid. And I have to tell you, it really keeps things hot for quite a while. It's only about 200 mils. You can't even fill it the full 200 mils, but that will do me. Now, let's move down to this end of the table and look at what I'm going to do for breakfast. Well, before I get to breakfast, I have decided that I will not eat breakfast first thing. What's really important for me on the trail is to take rests. And therefore, I'm going to save cooking breakfast for after I've walked one or 2 hours on the trail and need to take a break. However, I'm not going to suffer. I have purchased a nice supply of chocolate-covered espresso beans, so I will get a little bit of caffeine into me to get me started. And then my breakfast pretty much every day is going to be instant hot oatmeal. I have learned that you can cut the top off of the package. I will then add a half package of plain oatmeal, stir that around, and possibly bring with me some sunflower seeds and maybe some dried fruit. Maybe not, although I love craisins and raisins, they're kind of heavy. I'm thinking of maybe currants to just add a little bit more to it. And then I add hot water into the bag. As I mentioned before, I will put the bag in the Toke's pot and put the lid on and insulate it and let it sit there for a minute or two, and it will be hot, hot, hot and ready to eat. So that's what I'll have for breakfast. And then when it comes to coffee, those of you who know me know that I adore having homemade lattes. But that won't really be possible on the trail, so I'm going to take these instant latte or cappuccino drinks. I don't have this sort of thing at home. I don't put sugar in my latte, but this will make them palatable for me. And I don't have to worry about the sugar because I will be walking at least 8 hours a day. So I will be burning off whatever I can possibly eat and more. Now, in terms of snacks, I have to say that one of my biggest concerns overall is getting enough protein in, because in a previous life I was a dietitian, and I expect that I should be aiming to have 60 grams of protein a day. And usual trail food is things like pasta and couscous and mashed potatoes, and they are all, and noodle soups, and they're all not very high at all in protein. So I have some additional things that I will show you I'm planning to do. But in addition to that, I thought I really should go for some high protein snacks. And I did a taste test of about 8 different bars, protein bars. And my son Simon helped me and we rated them. And I chose the ones that came overall highest in protein and edibility, so to speak. And these Cliff Builder bars have 20 grams of protein each. So that's already a quarter of my protein allowance for the day. The other Cliff bars have 10. So these may be snacks. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do about lunch. They could be lunch. So let's look at what I've decided so far to do for dinner. Now, I looked at a couple of different things. I looked at these Knorr sides. They're kind of big in the thru hiker community. And because I'm trying to save on fuel and cooking time, I've experimented with them and found that anything with a thicker noodle, like a thicker macaroni or shells, they just don't soften up well enough. But the fettuccine, Alfredo, and this creamy Parmesan with the more like egg noodle type pasta, and maybe these honey garlic noodles, I haven't tried them yet, but they look kind of thin, will work. I can also smush them up in the bag a little bit more, again, to help with speeding up the softening process. The other thing I'm going to do with them, because they're not very high in protein, let's see if I can even read this myself. There, 4 grams of protein in this whole package. That's really quite low for a supper. So I have experimented with adding skim milk powder to them. And that works really well because these were meant to be cooked with milk as well, and I won't have milk with me. So the skim milk powder will add some extra protein. I'll probably add 3 to 4 tablespoons. Now, when it comes to noodle soups, I tried something today that was really successful. So I took one of these noodle soups. It was actually the Oriental one, but it probably work with any of them. I cut off the top and sat it inside my Tokes pot here, but I smashed up the noodles ahead of time, again, to speed up cooking. And to this, I added a 1/4 cup of, now where did it go? Here it is, textured vegetable protein. This I got on Amazon for a really cheap price. It was one of those add-on deals. So this whole big bag of 283 grams, I think was under $5. Now, a 1/4 cup of this is 12 grams of protein. So I added a 1/4 cup of that to the noodle soup. And because vegetables are kind of heavy, I had also ordered from Amazon these dehydrated vegetable flakes. And I added, well, maybe less than a 1/4 cup, because I don't have that much room in the bag anyway, to the noodle soup as well. And to that I added 1 cup of water, hot boiling water, stirred it around, and then I closed it up. I put the lid on this titanium pot, and I let it sit there for about 5 minutes, and occasionally I stirred it a little bit. And altogether, it probably sat about 10 minutes before I ate it, and it was piping hot, and it was pretty yummy. The other thing I'm looking into is couscous. Now, this box of Near East couscous with wild mushrooms and herbs looks delicious. I haven't tried it yet. Also, it gets kind of expensive, so I'm going to try working with just ordinary plain couscous and then doing some add-ins to that. I haven't worked that out yet, but I'll let you know how it goes. Another popular through hiker food is instant mashed potatoes. And again, I have to work with that. Probably I'll add skim milk powder to it. I may try using a combination of textured vegetable protein and it'll probably be very much like shepherd's pie because the textured vegetable protein is kind of like hamburger. Well, I can tell you what I'm probably not planning to do. These are parboiled and they're basically already cooked. They're supposed to be heated in the microwave and you only need to add 2 tablespoons of water. Obviously, I won't have a microwave on the trip, but I thought these might be really useful for those times when I am running out of water, which unfortunately happens from time to time. So I think I will take some of these, maybe have 1 a week available just in case. What I don't like about them is they are very, very heavy. So if we can see here, yeah, 250 grams. So that is half a pound for one meal. As a backup, in case I'm low on water, yes. But I will not be counting on them very much. What I had decided against is the dehydrated meals. They're very light. They are complete. There's Mountain House and Paleo. There's quite a few different companies. I've never tried them myself, but the price really put me off. In Canada, they can run you $14 to $18 or more per meal, and I just couldn't justify that. I'm going to bring some hot chocolate powder, maybe packets of hot apple cider, different types of tea, and this is I guess it's a kind of a fizzy energy drink. Has caffeine in it. I love caffeine. By a company called Arbonne that a friend of mine introduced me to. So just for some variety, I really like just drinking water, but I may get tired of water. So they're very light, and I thought I'd bring those along. Well, that's it as far as my food plans go. I'm going to continue working on recipes to find things. I'll report on that. I'm going to continue learning how to use this gimbal, do some fancier moves, but as you can tell already how much smoother it is when I walk around. So that'll be nice to have videos that don't have all that shake. So it's getting down to the crunch. I'm getting very excited, very nervous, but I'm doing great.